Hello and welcome once again to Jacob's Toys 5 Minute Figure Reviews. Please do like, share, subscribe and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. We're taking a look at the Marvel Legends Avengers Beyond Earths Mightiest wave, line, range. I don't know what the correct terminology is. In particular, Hawkeye with the Sky Cycle. Now this is interesting because it's the first kind of vehicle that we've had since the last Riders figure, which I think was Squirrel Girl or Ghost Rider 2099, one of those two. So although this isn't kind of advertised as a Riders series, it kind of is. Now, I'm not a big fan of this particular vehicle. It's a little bit lame, I think, in my opinion. However, we have seen it in various different formats. I think most predominantly was in one of the, I think it was like one of the Marvel versus Capcom games or something. It was definitely in a computer game. And I remember watching the original Avengers film and thinking that the Chitauri kind of gliders, when Hawkeye was like on one of those, it was very similar to that kind of setup. But yeah, Hawkeye is one of my favourites. I really do like Hawkeye, and I think just giving him kind of a floating Fantastic Four looking motorbike thing is just a bit lame. It just kind of goes, oh, you're not as good as everyone else, so here's a vehicle. Either way, it's cool that they've given it to us as part of the Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest wave line. I'm going to say line. And I'm sure for some collectors it's a welcomed addition. Now, annoyingly, I didn't press record when I was taking it out of the box and putting it together, so I'm now just going to look at it completed. It's made up of a few different parts. You've got this base part, you've got the main part, and you've got the windshield bit as well, and you've got a flight stand. Now, one thing that I must say that's good about the flight stand is you can position it in a number of different positions, angles, at different heights, and all that kind of stuff, and Hawkeye does sit on it quite nicely because he's got a soft goods tunic, whereas previous versions have had a hard plastic tunic, so you've not been able to kind of crouch him. Now, it's not only the Sky Cycle that this soft goods tunic is going to benefit from, it's also putting him into poses, so you can have him at a much more kind of crouched pose. But overall, this is a real upgrade. Now, I was kind of on the fence about this one, to be perfectly honest with you, when I first saw it, because I thought, I don't want the Sky Cycle, I just want the figure. And I quite like my original Hawkeye figure, but looking at the two next to each other, it is a huge improvement, and I didn't realise how outdated the previous one looked until I put them next to each other. The first thing to note is obviously the difference in colour. The older one is a much darker, kind of shinier purple and blue, and it almost kind of blends into two, whereas on the newer one you can definitely see the difference between the blue and the purple. The other one is the height, so because he's got slightly larger feet on this new one, he does stand a little bit taller, a little bit higher. But the third and probably most important thing is this new one is completely pinless, so aesthetically it does make a massive difference. And I think the pinless tech used on kind of bare flesh always benefits more. With the clothing and stuff, I can kind of look past it a little bit, but when it's on bare flesh, it just looks ugly. So yeah, the pinless element looks really good. The other thing as well is the head sculpt. The actual head sculpt and the wings on his mask are a lot more predominant on this new one, and the face sculpt in itself is a lot more kind of realistic. As I said, the tunic is soft goods, so it does make a huge difference to the figure. On the older figure, the kind of chest plate and the straps and the tunic is one solid piece. It's just one solid piece of plastic, and it really does limit the articulation and looks quite ugly, to be perfectly fair. Whereas this new one kind of hangs properly, and it makes the top half of the body a lot less clumpy as well. So looking at them both close up, you can really see the difference. There is a massive difference between these two figures, and I think if you're a collector of Avengers, like classic looking Avengers, or you're a fan of Hawkeye, then swapping out the old version for this new version is a must. It really is. Even if you're not interested in the Sky Cycle, put it in a box, sell it on to another collector, do whatever you need to do with it. I think it is worth picking up this box set just for this new Hawkeye, because I can't imagine it's a character we're going to get another version of anytime soon, because this is the kind of Marvel anniversary wave, so I can't see why they would put him in a future wave. So yeah, I'm definitely pleased that I've got hold of him. The only thing I suppose I'm not overly keen on is the bow, but then I've got a number of different bows that I could switch him out for. The one on the older version is a more kind of up-to-date looking bow, but then I've also got these two that came with the Hawkeye figures from the TV series, so the Kate Bishop and the Clint Barton from the TV series. So I think maybe swapping him out for Clint's one from the TV show might might work well. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Please do like, share, subscribe, and all of those things. HAWKEYE, awesome figure. I'll see you soon.